think you got to accept it on your end.
Oh, yeah, I see that. There we go.
Good. Okay, we're off and
Awesome.
running. So yeah, Scott, appreciate you making the time, man.
Yeah, no problem.
I was doing these Linchpin member interviews for a while, and I got in a good rhythm, and then I fell out of the rhythm, as happens with life.
Absolutely.
We'll do all the normal stuff, your story, some Linchpin, blah 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 stuff. Hopefully I'm not putting my foot in my mouth right now, but aren't you the individual that sometime within the last couple of weeks you made a post, I think about like there was hope for your double unders if there was hope for the F1 driver Lando Norris.
Yeah, that was me. Yeah.
Are you an F1 fan?
Yeah. Yeah, I've kind of followed it on and off for probably 20, 30 years. Uh,
Oh, okay. So I was going to say, are you a real fan or are you a fake fan like me that just loves the Netflix series?
no, but I know that so like Liberty Media Group bought Formula One, within the last, 5 to 10 years, and that's when it just blew up in the US.
Ah, okay. Okay. Yes, I did not know much about it at all. And I mean, really, zilch.
Mhm.
Every now and then I'd see the odd looking cars at like, 2 a.m. or some
Yep.
weird time that the races are on. I don't know what made me stumble upon the Netflix series. And I was actually talking to another Lynchpin member about the same thing today, Adrian Salgado. He's down in Mexico. He's
Hmm.
a huge fan as well. And we get to talking about it, and I was like, man, I've got he's a real fan also. And so he informed me I need to start watching the races.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I mean, I guess I always grew up a race fan, all different kinds of racing. And when we were younger, my brother and I actually had a car that we raced kind of locally here on dirt tracks for a while. So
You're kidding.
no, it was
Oh, that's way cooler than working out. What's the what kind of car? What was the dirt track like? What are we talking here?
yeah. So they had like an introductory, like it was like open wheeled modifieds, but they had a class that was more like stock engines. It's not like the full blown 600 horsepower ones.
How
Uh,
old were
but
you?
probably were
Were you just strapping into a machine and hoping for the best and putting on a helmet?
A little bit more than that, but yeah, and watching our money disappear, when we didn't have
Okay.
didn't have any family commitments and you could waste your money on whatever you wanted to. Yeah.
Any close calls?
Not really.
Any success?
Also not really.
But probably a ton of fun, huh?
A lot of fun, yeah.
Oh man, that's cool. And what state was this in?
We're in Minnesota.
Okay, man, God bless you. That sounds absolutely awesome. Now, getting back to F1, is Lando your man? Do you have a team? Do you care who you follow?
Not really. I've always been kind of more of a Hamilton fan. But
Dude's a beast.
yes, exactly.
Like
But yeah, I mean, it's nice. I
consistency.
mean, I think Lando's really popular with everybody, and McLaren used to be like the team, back in the late '80s and early '90s, and they've really kind of fallen off in the last decade or so. So it's nice to see them back on top and winning again.
Now, there are people either loving this podcast or now are hating it, but that's okay because you and I just have a conversation. With Hamilton, is he finally going to leave Mercedes?
Yeah, he's signed for Ferrari next year.
Oh, and so are people going to stick with him as a fan or were they Mercedes fans?
It's hard to say. So I think it might depend on who backfills his seat at Mercedes because that hasn't been decided yet either.
Because Ferrari hasn't lived up to expectations recently either, right? Or have they?
Not particularly, no. Like
Interesting.
about 2 years ago, they were kind of neck and neck with Red Bull to start the season, and then they made a bunch of like tactical errors during races, screwing up their pit strategy, and they just kind of nosedived after that.
Red Bull's been on a tear.
Absolutely, they've won just about everything for the last
Dude,
3 years.
who's that guy, Verstappen?
Verstappen,
He's a savage.
absolutely.
He seems to, I mean, obviously anyone who's out there in that track is such a maniacal, ferocious, competitive person.
Mhm.
Like that they're a unique class of human being that, they could die in any day and they're good with that. They don't want to, but they know what
Mhm.
they're getting into. He seems to be even amongst that group like uber aggressive driving.
Oh,
Like,
absolutely. I think before when he was younger, he was kind of known for like maybe being a little too aggressive. And, he would
I mean, but
sideswipe
somehow
people
he
as he was
pulls it
trying to
off. Like
pass
he
them.
doesn't crash a lot.
Not anymore.
Oh no. Okay. There was a
No, but yeah,
learning
like
curve.
in the same car, even he's like a half a second a lap faster than his teammate.
Oh, I mean,
And his
he's
teammate
insane.
is Sergio Perez, and another Mexican driver, and
Hmm.
his he's no slouch.
No, no,
He's,
no,
he's
no.
regarded as one of the better drivers on the paddock, and Verstappen's just head and shoulders that much better than he is.
He's insane. And my final question for you, since we're talking to a real fan, um, used to drive for Red Bull, the super likable Australian guy, Daniel.
Daniel Ricciardo.
Yes, he was like gone for a while, then he came back. Hit and miss, hot and cold,
Hmm.
bounce from team to team. Do you think he's going to shake out to something, or we're going to see him go bye-bye again?
I don't. It's hard to say. I think they like him at because he's back with like the sister team for Red Bull.
Oh, that's right.
So I think they like him there, and if anything, he's a valuable development driver because he's experienced and gives them like feedback in developing the car.
Hmm.
So I think he'll stay there, but I think his best days are behind him.
But even if he never drives again, he'll probably be okay because he probably has a net worth of like $20 million.
Oh, the salary those guys like the last place guy on the grid is still probably getting $5 to $10 million a season
Right.
to drive your car.
Right.
It's incredible.
Oh, and what is, I mean, that the team chiefs of the presidents, I mean, anytime there's a wreck, they must just see dollar signs
Oh,
just
yeah.
just go away.
Yeah, I know there was the Haas team a couple of years ago. They're one of the back markers on the grid, and there was a big crash where the car literally got torn in half, and they said that crash was over $1 million out of their budget.
The guy from Haas who always has to just deliver the bad news he's so likable. Gunther or whatever his name is.
Yeah, yeah,
He's so likable, and but just I mean, I think he just got fired, or
yeah. He did.
which I guess you can't. I mean, that team was just, I don't know if it was his fault, but if you're the leader, your head's going to roll, and they just
Sure.
haven't delivered
Yep.
forever.
Yep.
Man, that's I'm sure every job related to F1 stuff has to be such a high pressure. Like obviously the drivers can't mess up, the team principals. If you're like changing the tires or lifting the car, like
Mhm.
talk about you have to be flawless and fast every time. It's gonna be such
Yeah.
a high pressure gig, man.
Hmm. Yeah, and what you don't see like from an organizational standpoint is like behind the scenes at the factory, they've got like hundreds of employees, from engineers doing the design work to the people that do all the fabrication. It's incredible the amount of, resources and just human capital it takes to run one of those teams.
And when I was talking to Adrian today, he told me how much like a ticket costs to go watch
Oh,
one of those events. I think he was saying when they go to Mexico, the Mexico's maybe one of the top three more expensive venues that even the quote unquote cheap seats, he said were like 20,000 Mexican pesos, which he told me was like $1,000 USD for like the cheapest available
yeah,
seat.
yeah.
How does that work?
It I guess people who have the money go, and even the people who don't, that's how they prioritize their vacation dollars. But yeah,
Yeah.
I've thought about because there's 3 races in the US now. And I would love to go to one, but it's just like I can't justify spending $1,000 on a ticket for like general admission.
For general admission. And do you actually get to see the race, or you just see them go by in like a split second, then you wait for it
Yeah,
to
and
type in?
I'm assuming there's parts of it where like there's might be a screen in front of you that you can watch to see the rest of the track. But yeah,
Oh, wild. I mean, absolutely was. So anyway, yeah, very cool. I'm gonna have to start watching some races to catch up. But okay,
hmm,
let's chat about, fitness and health and all that kind of
yeah,
stuff. So to give us a little bit, I know you've been with Linchpin for, I believe, a little over 2 years now, but
yeah,
what's your kind of general just bio? Who are you? What you about? Married, kids?
yeah. So yeah, I'm 46 years old now. And I work as an engineer, so it's a pretty white collar environment where I'm sitting at a desk most of my day. I'm still up and moving around. You have to go in the shop floor and look at things from time to time, but it's, mostly a sedentary work day for me. So, the importance of actually getting a little work in after work is really important.
At your work, is there a break room filled with delicious snacks?
Uh, Not that often, thank goodness.
Oh, okay. All right. All right.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, it's kind of funny because I remember like a lot of people talking about like the early days of COVID when they were stuck at home and they were, putting on the COVID-19. And I think I actually went the other direction because I never had to say no to a box of donuts in the break room because
Oh,
I was
you're
working
right.
from home the whole time
Right.
and
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, that makes sense. That
temptation
makes
wasn't
sense.
there.
So you basically sit in the overall majority of the
I'd
time at
say,
work,
yeah, I'd probably sit for 6 of my 8 hours.
and then you come home to a couple of kids, right?
Yep. So yeah, I've been married for almost 11 years now, and I've got two kids. They're 8 and 9.
And
So
I'm
my,
sure they
my
keep
son
you
is the
plenty,
9 year
plenty
old. He'll be
busy.
10 in August.
Oh, very cool, very cool. And so you've got this, you get a white collar job. Anybody who's got a couple kids, just doesn't have a tremendous amount of free time. Just, in
No.
general, life's busy. And, in the mix of this, what was your general health and fitness, sports, background, for most of your life, I should say.
Yeah, I mean, growing up, I did like for organized sports. I kind of did the usual football, baseball, basketball that a lot of the boys my age did. I kind of stuck with that through junior high, but you know, I found that for the most part, I wasn't that good. and
You and me both.
and once you get to like that where it's like varsity level, you kind of have to decide if it's really something you want to do because there's a lot of hours of practice for not a lot of hours or not a lot of minutes of playing time. and
Hmm.
and it kind of stops being fun when you have to practice 90 minutes a night 5 days a week and then you might get to play if the game is decided with 3 minutes to go.
No, understood. Yeah. And then generally, most people, when you're young and you've got fewer responsibilities, you're more active. And then as the years go on, you've got more responsibilities, things take a back seat, and eventually your self-care can get pushed
Oh, absolutely.
a little bit too far. And you said that happened at a certain point in your life as well. You just kind of didn't take as good of a care of yourself as you should have. What was that?
I think probably, well, I had a couple of periods, like in my mid 20s, I was pretty sedentary and that kind of caught up with me a little bit. And, that's when I kind of started going down that like global gym track where I would kind of work out, stop by the gym after work and, scan your badge and, do the standard, I guess what everybody else does at the global gym. You get on the elliptical for 30-40 minutes and then you go lift on a cable machine and
Yeah, oh yeah. Been there.
and
Yep, 100%.
yep. But I think the last period was probably like right around the time my kids were born. I think I didn't do a whole lot, but my kids are about 18 months apart, and I didn't do much of anything in that period. And
Hmm.
that's when I found CrossFit. So the local affiliate by where I live today.
During that period of 18 months, did the physical activity just fall to the side, and maybe you lost some strength and stamina and endurance, or, did some bad weight go on, or what happened during the
I
18
think all
months?
of the above.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Just, that's it.
Just got a
100%
little
happens.
fluffy around the edges and yeah, definitely wasn't in very good shape from a I remember like specifically that summer doing yard work, like where I had to like I think we had some mulch delivered and I was wheelbarrowing it from the front of the house to the back of the house and it just about killed me.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, man. I mean, I shouldn't say I love stories like that, but I think stories like that are very telling and eye-opening, right? Because that's not you trying to do some crazy physical endeavor, some triathlon or some, whatever,
Right.
entering like a high rocks race for 2 hours. I mean, you're working in your yard. You're
Mm-hmm.
doing stuff that just is totally ordinary. You're going to have to do it. It shouldn't be considered above and beyond. And I can see why that would be a bit of an eye-opening moment of like, well, this isn't good. Like, how did we get here? Oh,
Mm-hmm.
what happened? And so you had that awakening, although people have that awakening all the time and don't do anything. But
Sure.
did you, was that the catalyst that actually you started making some different decisions
Yeah, I think so. And
around that
I
time?
had, before we had kids, we had like a little small 24-hour fitness where the instructor kind of he was independently owned, and I got to be good friends with the owner, and he had like group kettlebell classes where we'd kind of just all stand in a line and swing kettlebells and do a lot of the same movements you would do in CrossFit with like cleans and presses and
Okay.
things of that nature, and I missed doing that, so I kind of sought that out, and that's when I found CrossFit. But yeah, it was um, his philosophy was a lot like the same philosophy you see in a CrossFit gym, where like uh, you know for what it cost him to buy a dozen kettlebells and teach a group class was like half of what it would cost him to buy a treadmill.
Mm-hmm.
So it just made sense for him from a impacting his community standpoint to do stuff like that with his gym.
So that was at like 24-hour fitness, you said?
Yeah.
Yep. And then what led you from what he was doing to actually diving into CrossFit?
Honestly, I couldn't find anything that was kind of an exact replacement, and I had known some people who had done CrossFit. My brother, I think, had started at an affiliate by where he lived in that same time frame, and I just reached out to them, and I remember the introductory class. I showed up and did the kind of that standard baseline workout with like 500 meters on the rower and 30
Yes,
push-ups and
sir.
30
Yep.
air squats where the coach has you squat to touch a medicine ball.
Yep.
And I said, hey, yeah, I can do this. This is fun. I can see myself doing this 3-4 days a week.
And so that's an in-person actual affiliate, and now,
Mm-hmm.
you're here with Lynchman. So what led you from one to the other?
So around 20, well, in 2020, we had some extended gym closures here with COVID.
That's one
Um,
way to say it.
yeah. So we had to work out at home, and I'd kind of already had some equipment at home anyhow. My wife, just because of her career, didn't going to a gym didn't fit her
Mm,
schedule. So she had done some online fitness at home. I said, well, she can do it. I can do it too. Um, I'd already kind of known I had the discipline to do it. And then I had a career change, like right around the time I started Linchpin, where I was commuting further, and my schedule just didn't allow me to get to a gym on their schedule. So I
right.
said I need to find something I can do on my schedule.
Okay. And so there's a lot of there's a lot of choices you could have made. What led you to us?
Um, I just kind of knew of you because I listened to Sean and Tom. Yeah, Sean and Tommy had mentioned like you had affiliated your garage
Oh yeah.
gym, and knew you from like when I first started CrossFit. I watched all the documentaries and saw your commentary, so I knew who you were. I saw Tanner on Reddit with his crazy lifts.
Man, do you know how many people I should give Tanner some sort of I should send him something in the mail. How many people have told me that they found Lynchpin through this crazy lunatic in a flight helmet squatting on Reddit?
Yeah,
I mean, he's responsible for a large number of the people in Lynchpin. Tanner, like 100%. It's absolutely hysterical how frequently I hear that.
yeah, it's insane. But yeah, I always laugh every time I see him doing stuff, and I show the videos to my wife, and she just rolls her eyes and says that guy's just ridiculous.
Oh, and it's funny. He's God bless him again. He's so darn strong, and he's strong even for a big guy. Because first you want to be like, well, yeah, he's really strong, but he's big. Well, there's a lot of people that are even as big as him that aren't anywhere near as strong. Then you want to be like, okay, well, he's just strong, and then you see him like run and do pull-ups, and you're like, well, darn it,
Handstand walking, like
guy, yeah, what,
yeah, he's
how's
not
that?
he's not just this one-dimensional meathead.
Oh, yeah. And somehow he squeezes himself into a helicopter. I'm surprised it doesn't fly sideways, you know?
I know, yeah.
So anyway, yeah, that's you did it and you dove and you actually, had the discipline to like I said, you knew you were a disciplined person. You felt like you could work out on your
Mhm.
own. But, and this isn't scripted. I don't know what you're going to say, so I'm curious. You know, an online community, it's for some people, it's not for everybody, quite
Mhm.
frankly, and I would never say that it is. And there are things that are, I think, easier about it and things that they're challenging,
Mhm.
in your experience, you know, how would you describe the online experience to somebody else who's, hasn't gone down that road before?
Yeah, so I think one of the unexpected things was like the private Facebook group and just being able to check in with people and seeing how they're doing. And there's like side conversations that are I kind of liken those to those conversations you'd have in the changing area at an affiliate, that you're just kind of,
Right.
this is what I got going on in my life. And anybody seen this, or like, I think it's Adrian that does question of the day every once in a while, or just
Yeah,
to
yeah,
get to
yeah.
know each other. And but also like the people sharing their workouts and the results is kind of similar to what you'd have on the whiteboard at an affiliate. And um just that accountability of checking in with people.
Yeah, I think that's one of those things that, I say it all the time, and I'm sure that people outside of it think that I'm just talking nonsense because like how can an online community actually feel like you
Mhm.
get to know people in the community? But man, the people that somehow through dumb luck or whatever that we've had wander into Linchpin just got some good, honest, real, authentic folks in there, like
Yeah.
real life, real responsibilities, no nonsense, super cool. Um, yeah, I don't know how we pulled that off, but it seems to
Yeah.
happen.
Well, I like that there's like, some really basic rules of, how to conduct yourself, and everybody honors that. And it kind of makes it a more enjoyable experience for everybody by doing that too.
Yeah, people, I mean, again, thanks to everybody. They make my job of like having to like I don't really have to be the hall monitor, which is really cool.
Exactly.
Like there's a bunch of adults, which is awesome. But what does your, so let's say somebody's interested, like, well, I've had it busy and yeah, I don't like my commute and whatever it happens to be. And I think I got some discipline. If I had a community, I could do this at home. What does your and maybe it's grown over the years, but like, what's your equipment setup look like at home? How much square footage do you have, or what's your space dedicated, and what's the gear that you got?
Yeah, I'm just in like a third garage stall here. We've got this kind of the standard suburban 3-stall garage house. We got a variety of free weights, dumbbells ranging from 5 to 50 pounds, a handful of kettlebells. Um, I wish I need to add a few more just because I don't have two that are the same weight, and I'd like to do like you know do like thrusters with them every once in a while. Not
Oh,
that anybody really
yeah,
wants to do thrusters, but
right.
and just barbell and some bumper plates to go with that. As far as machines, I've got a rower that was a pandemic purchase, and then I've got an old Airdyne that I found on Facebook Marketplace that was a freebie, but
Oh, wow, that's
it's one
great.
of those golden ones that's straight out of about 1977, and it gets the job done.
That'll work. Yeah,
Yep.
that'll work. And the right price is free.
That's right. Yeah. My wife said, "What do you want to bring that thing home for?" I said, "I'm going to use it." And she laughed at me. Even when it's not in the workout, I think I warm up on it every time I work out. I just get on it for a minute and just get my heart rate up.
And with your schedule and the kids and working from home, what hour of the day do you make it happen?
I'm kind of a fitness after dark type of
Oh,
person.
no
So I'm usually
kidding.
out here like after supper when we get the kids ready for bed, and I peel
Okay.
off and work out. Probably isn't the best time of day to do that just from a getting to sleep standpoint, but Um, sometimes if I haven't got it done by then, I have to do it then, or it doesn't get done.
And yeah, and I guess you've gotten used to it. That's what I'm always nervous about, that I wouldn't be able to go back to sleep.
Yep.
And you said Minnesota, right?
Yep.
You said something, you said supper.
Yeah.
A lot of people say dinner or whatnot,
Yeah.
what I hear out here in the Pacific Northwest. But I grew up in Massachusetts, and just as frequently as we would say dinner, you hear supper all the time
Yep.
in Massachusetts. But I haven't heard supper in a while. That brought me right back.
Yep.
That's absolutely fantastic. Any workouts that come out of the hopper or whatnot, what ones in general make you smile, and what ones in general bring a small tear to your eye?
Oh boy. I honestly I kind of like the longer ones just because those are the ones where you really pace yourself and you don't seem to die on those ones as much. But like I think the ones where you go hot and fast, like anything with a 21:15:9 or like
Hmm.
the one that always seems to get me is like DT. Like it just pumps my forearm so bad it taxes your grip that I remember sitting down trying to put my time in my phone and my thumbs didn't even work.
I
I
believe
couldn't hold on to my phone for a couple of minutes.
100% believe that. Yeah, DT is an absolute beast. Well, I guess, kind of in closing, any just, thoughts, lessons learned, things you'd like to share with somebody who's, maybe watching this and kind of, on the fence, and not even just about Lynchman, on the fence about getting back into fitness, on the fence about making a change in their life.
Yeah, I think the best time to start is 20 years ago, and the next best time to start is tomorrow. So
Love that.
don't wait if you're apprehensive. You give a 30-day free trial. That's how I started, um, and I think you'll find you'll like it if there's a lot of great options. I even find myself doing like no equipment or limited equipment sometimes just because I like the variety.
Man, the limited equipment crew, the dumbbell crew,
Yeah.
beast, absolute beast. You
They don't
wielding
get
those
shortchanged
dumbbells?
at all.
No. A pair of 50-pound dumbbells feels 10 times heavier than a 100-pound dumbbell, like by, I mean, 100-pound barbell, like by
Oh,
far.
absolutely 100%. Like
It's,
dumbbell thrusters, I mean, thrusters in general get me, but dumbbell thrusters get me twice as fast.
yeah, I could not agree more. Well, hey, Scott, I appreciate it, brother. I appreciate you being a part of Lynchpin, and I appreciate you educating me and everyone else on the world of F1.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, of course, man. Well, I'll see you in the Facebook group.
Sounds good.
All right, dude, later.
Yep, take care.